Alberto now is, it looks like we're going to get a lot of rain. I think even in South Florida, we're going to get 4 to 8 inches of rain, which means we have a chance for some flooding.
The governor of Florida warning people about subtropical storm Alberto tonight. Chief meteorologist Bob Harrigan will tell us what we can expect. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC7 News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We are a week away from the official start of hurricane season, but tell that to subtropical storm Alberto. Here's a live look at our tower cam tonight where the rain has let up for now, but let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan to find out just how bad these storms will get this weekend. Bob?
Well, it got bad this afternoon. We had some heavy rainfall up to 3 inches in just less than an hour and a half down in South Sarasota County. Let me bring you up to speed on the latest from the National Hurricane Center. This just came in. This is the 11 o'clock advisory. 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time, and again, not much change in terms of the wind speed, but notice that the east movement continues at 5 miles an hour. We talked about this earlier at 6 too. We saw on the visible satellite imagery there may be another low spinning right here. The main low was well to the southwest of it, but I said there's a chance it could redevelop under a cluster of storms, and certainly the Hurricane Center did mention that would change the course too of a whole cone of uncertainty. So we'll have to watch that closely, especially at the 5 a.m. advisory coming up on Saturday. The pressure remains at 1,006 millibars. That's not that low. Here's the forecast cone, the latest one from the National Hurricane Center, taking it off into the Gulf of Mexico. They've nudged it a little bit further to the east now, too, at this last advisory, and they may have to do more so and change the timing of this, too, as well, if that other low possibly redevelops further off to the north. Top winds expected to be at 60 miles an hour by 8 a.m. on Sunday, and then the storm will still be a tropical storm and possibly even a hurricane before it makes landfall right into the lower Mississippi Valley, anywhere from, say, New Orleans eastward to just near Panama City. Again, a tropical storm watch is up for those areas, but it could turn into a hurricane watch with the next advisory at 5 a.m. Well, it's still a poorly organized system with all the deep convection well east of the center. Look at that explosion of storms just southwest of where it says Cuba right there. The actual low pressure is right here, and this is continuing to move off to the east, but it's going to drift off to the north. The other secondary low could be right there forming on the western tip of Cuba, so we'll keep an eye on it for you. Obviously, the models have shifted a little bit further off to the east, getting a little closer to the sun coast, but we are not anticipating that to make landfall here. In fact, you can see that rainfall is heavy down to our south still at this hour, and this is what we'll be dealing with tomorrow night and into, it looks like, Sunday. We'll have much more on all that coming up in a few minutes. Back to you, Jacqueline.
All right, Bob, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. A local state of emergency has been declared for Manatee County. Officials moving ahead with this in anticipation of some of those big storms from subtropical storm Alberto. ABC7's Rick Adams tells us what that means for the county.
Well, Manatee County Commissioners unanimously approved this local state of emergency earlier today. It's a way of preparing for the worst this weekend. This is the system that has a lot of folks here on the Sun Coast a little concerned. Subtropical storm Alberto is expected to dump lots of rain over the Memorial Day weekend. That's what brought out Amanda Solis and her family to the sandbag location on Talavast Road. She says she's bringing the sandbags to her aunt's home as well as to her apartment complex.
We just saw the sign that said sandbags, and I've been seeing the weather, so I figure just in case, caution.
It's that caution that had Manatee County Commissioners give the green light on Friday to a local state of emergency. They're not taking any chances. It not only makes sandbags available, but also allows the county to staff through the weekend to monitor the storm. In addition, it allows evacuation shelters to open if the need arises and perform any emergency action.
A lot of our area is already saturated, so the 4 to 8 inches they're predicting that could arrive in this area will just exacerbate what is already starting to become a problem. So we're worried about areas that are prone to localized flooding.
For Amanda Solis and so many others, they are hoping for the best with the storm this weekend.
Praying it'll just either turn around or, just calm down or change its mind.
And if you do need sandbags, they will be available tomorrow from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the MCAT facility on Talavast Road. Reporting from Bradenton, I'm Rick Adams, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you, Rick. The city of Sarasota will also be distributing sandbags at 3 locations starting tomorrow. That will start at 9 o'clock in the morning and go until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They'll be distributed at Newtown Estates Park, Twin Lakes Park, and the South County Fleet Facility. Well, with a hurricane sales tax holiday starting next week, retailers are expecting big spending on disaster preparedness supplies by Floridians. The 6-month hurricane season arrives on June 1st, along with a week-long period in which state and local sales taxes will be lifted on a list of disaster supplies. The discount period means about $1 in sales taxes will not be applied to, say, a $15 package of batteries, or perhaps around $50 is left off of the purchase of a generator that costs $750. The Florida Retail Federation says the tax holiday has drawn added attention after the previous hurricane season and Hurricane Irma.
It starts right when hurricane season kicks off June 1st, as opposed to being later on in the summer. So people can load up early on in the year, and they don't have to wait, and then you don't have to wait till later on in the summer where potentially a hurricane is coming or is already hit, and it's kind of almost too late.
Beyond batteries and generators, other tax-free items will include tarps, flashlights, battery-powered radios, and portable gas tanks. Well, due to the potential for rainy weather on Monday, the annual Downtown Memorial Day Parade has been canceled. The parade, however, will not be rescheduled. This is the first cancellation of the parade in more than 30 years. And the Seafood Festival at St. Armand's Circle is also postponed due to the weather this weekend. Organizers will hold the event next weekend, Saturday, June 2nd and Sunday, June 3rd. And since we know Memorial Day marks the start of the busy summer travel season, expect it to be busier than last year. On average, gas is about 60 cents more expensive per gallon than Memorial Day 2017. People fueling up and getting ready to make their way out of town for the holiday weekend say they enjoy traveling too much to let gas prices change their plans.
Hey, I'm going to Daytona for this weekend. The gas price ain't gonna change my mind. Gotta get where we gotta get at, you know what I'm saying?
No, the gas prices will not influence whether we travel or not this summer.
Well, here's where you can go for the least expensive gas on the Suncoast. According to GasBuddy.com, you can find regular unleaded for $2.79 a gallon at the Citgo on 15th Street and Talavast Road. In Bradenton, the lowest price is also $2.79 at the Marathon on 47th and 53rd Avenue East near Lockwood Ridge Road. And speaking of gas, especially this weekend, be sure to have your guard up for gas pump card skimmers as you fill up. You can avoid them entirely by paying in cash. Also, check to make sure the area where you insert the credit card is closed and has not been tampered with. Always use a pump closer to the front of the store and use a credit card instead of a debit card. Credit cards have better fraud protection and the money is not deducted immediately from your bank account. New at 11, 3 men have been arrested for an armed robbery and attempted carjacking that happened on Longboat Key earlier this month. The incident happened in the 2200 block of Gulf of Mexico Drive on May 10th. Shortly after the robbery, the suspects were chased by Sarasota police and Manatee County Sheriff's deputies to a neighborhood where the suspects then got out of the car and ran off. Latarius Harvey was taken down by a Sarasota police canine while running away from the vehicle. The other 2 suspects were located and arrested yesterday. They have been identified as Travis Cooper, who is an illegal immigrant from the Bahamas, and Eric Dudley. All 3 are being held at the Sarasota County Jail on charges of attempted robbery with a firearm while masked and attempted armed carjacking. Their bonds range from $150,000 to $300,000. An update now on the man accused of multiple burglaries at medical offices and businesses in the area and several other counties nearby. Anthony Washington was arrested yesterday in connection with 4 burglaries in Manatee County. Today, Manatee County releasing a list of 21 businesses in Bradenton and Sarasota that he's connected to. To see if your medical or dental office has fallen victim to one of those recent burglaries, you can head over to our website, mysuncoast.com, and search for this story. New details on a body found in a retention pond yesterday in Manatee County. The body has been identified as 34-year-old Theodore Semko, and sheriff's investigators are ruling out foul play. An autopsy showed that the victim suffered a medical event. Caught on camera, an in-flight fight between 2 passengers on an American Airlines flight to Miami. A witness recorded the fight that happened on Wednesday and says that it all started when the passenger in the black t-shirt demanded more alcohol. The flight attendant told him no, and then another passenger stepped in to try and calm him down, but that only made him angrier. The passenger was taken into custody when the plane landed. An update now on a lawsuit against the city of Sarasota spanning more than a decade. A local expert on local government believes that it can end up hurting taxpayers for the next several years. A jury awarding a developer over $49 million in damages. That developer, Buck Leiter, claimed that the city breached a contract in 2008 and then won an appeal, leading to the most recent judgment. If upheld, the debt could affect the city's credit, existing loans, and ultimately tax rates.
What is the city going to do to satisfy it, and how they're going to do it? If I were a creditor, you would want to know those questions.
This is a long way to go. You know, nobody's taxes are going to go up tomorrow. Nobody's going to lose their jobs tomorrow. I mean, this case has several years left on it.
Bentley says that they tested their defense on several focus groups and made attempts to settle before this went to trial a second time. About half of those fake juries sided with the city. The NCAA Division I, II, and III Women's Rowing National Championship is now underway at Nathan Benderson Park. Many of the young women competing in the championships are from right here on the Sun Coast. Stanford senior Devin Norder started her career at Nathan Benderson in 2010 as part of Sarasota crew. The Pineview graduate says a lot of the training is still the same, but just at a bigger level.
It's all about, honestly, like the grind. So day in and day out, it's about practicing 2 times a day, eating clean, staying healthy, twice a day practices.
The championships will run throughout the weekend, but schedules are subject to change due to the inclement weather. A revolutionary change in home building. A Sarasota company hopes to start 3D printing homes next year. The company says they can build a 2,000 square foot home in 24 hours. They say the home can also withstand winds up to 220 miles per hour. The builder's goal is to create these homes at an affordable price, under $150,000.
Technology we're working with all bottom up. This is not technology that your grandfather used or your father used.
The company hopes to have their 3D home printer in use by next year. Straight ahead, Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with our first alert forecast. Plus, another school shooting, this time in Indiana. How a teacher was able to stop the shooter before anyone was killed.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
All right, Bob, well, we are continuing to monitor subtropical storm Alberto. It is a week before hurricane season.
Yeah,
so.
it's not too uncommon.
Okay.
Every 6 years we get a system that develops outside of the hurricane season. You know, last year we had one in April.
Right, I do remember that. Yeah.
Arlene? That's right. Here's what's going on right now, you guys. Got to look at this. You know, you got to enjoy the nice beauty shots before we get to the nasty weather. This was tonight. Teresa getting this gorgeous shot there of a double rainbow. You can't really see the second one. And look at this, our own Laura Barrero getting this. Our producer that's behind the set right now talking in my ear. Not right now, thankfully, but she'll be saying rap pretty soon. She sent that one in ABC7 studios right there. Double rainbow all the way. What does it mean? Well, it means rain around. I'll tell you what, storm risk levels look like this. We are going to see rip currents. That's going to be a big concern. Not so much tomorrow. Sunday, yes. Monday for sure, and it looks like heavy rain is going to be in the level of high, not extreme at this point, and rough seas a definite possibility, and that's going to create those rip currents and possibly some coastal erosion. What's happening now, as I told you earlier, the low pressure center may be redefining itself and redeveloping a little bit further off to the northeast. We saw that with Gabrielle in 2001, when at one point it was just off the Yucatan Peninsula, and then it jumped about 100 miles to the east and northeast, changing the timing of the storm as well as the intensity of the storm and the track of the storm. So we'll watch this one very closely to see if that does it. Notice though, good sign here is that some of the deep reds that we saw earlier are starting to slacken up a bit to the north of it. And that's because of this dry air intrusion, but look behind it. It's still a pretty active system near Belize, getting some heavy weather there, just some convergence around that. And this is all going to kind of pinwheel and head off to the northeast. And you'll notice if the storm's up here and this is doing the same thing, we'd get the tail end of that into Florida. Well, here are the latest. If you didn't see it earlier, it's 40-mile-an-hour winds. It's not going to be a big windstorm for us at all, just a big rainmaker, it looks like. 60-mile-an-hour winds, and the hurricane hunters are suggesting, not hunters, but Hurricane Center is suggesting that this could become a hurricane before making landfall somewhere along the North Gulf Coast, and that could be right there Mobile or possibly even to the panhandle of Florida. A tropical storm watch is out now, but that could change over to a hurricane watch with the next advisory at 5 a.m. due to the fact that a lot of the intensity forecast models are suggesting that it could be a hurricane. Look at all the deep blue here. That's the tropical moisture that'll be in place over us throughout the day on Saturday, more so Saturday night and into Sunday. One benefit is that this dry air continues to kind of intrude and entrain right into the system, but you'll notice these clouds are now, or at least moisture is starting to move northward. That's what's going to eventually take this system off into the north and move it toward the north. Right now it's drifting off to the east. Boy, a lot of rain down to our south right now, in through the Florida Straits and through the Keys. Nothing going on here right now. Should stay relatively quiet overnight too. There'll be a few showers tomorrow morning, but most of the action coming later in the day. A flood watch is in effect until 8 o'clock on Monday for the entire peninsula for that matter. And rainfall since Saturday, 7 inches and plus in some areas over South County. Also 2 to 3 to even 4 inches of rain into parts of, again, Manatee County. Well, here's the look at the forecast. In the morning, not much, but then as we progress through the afternoon and evening, periods of showers and storms move through. Now, granted, this is just one forecast model, but we're going to see the possibility of heavy rainfall right on in through Sunday, and that system will continue to kind of drag this tropical moisture our way right through Monday and Tuesday as well. So breaking it down, 70% chance on Saturday, 100% chance for Saturday night and Sunday. That rain will be torrential at times. Winds will be the strongest, I think, southeast 20 to 25. Still a pretty good chance for showers and storms on Monday, Memorial Day. And then we get back to what appears to be more like a summer period, but boy, the tropical air will be in place and bring us a lot more rain. Back to you, Jacqueline.
All right, Bob, thank you. Another school shooting, this time in the Indianapolis suburb of Noblesville, Indiana. Fortunately, no one was killed in this latest case of school violence. ABC's Brian Clark tells us how a teacher stopped the shooter before any lives were lost.
Police in Noblesville, Indiana, responding to calls of yet another school shooting.
All units, active shooter, Noblesville West Middle School.
Authorities say students were taking a test when a male student asked to be excused.
He left the classroom. He then returned armed with 2 handguns.
The gunman opening fire, hitting a student and a teacher. That teacher, Jason Seaman, being hailed as a hero. Students in the classroom saying he saved lives, throwing a basketball at the gunman to distract him and then charging.
If it weren't for him, a lot of us could have been hurt. He pretty much protected all of us.
Students were taken to a nearby high school.
We were all holding hands, holding tight together, just hoping that everything would be okay.
I just didn't want to die.
Distraught parents racing to pick up their children.
Immediate fear of, I'm so far away and I can't do anything to help her.
This latest school shooting comes just 1 week after the deadly shooting in Santa Fe, Texas, that claimed the lives of 10 victims, and just over 3 months since the shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, that left 17 dead. Many asking what can be done to stop the gun violence in our schools.
We can create environments in schools where kids will more readily talk to administrators and police resource officers, and we can physically make schools safer.
Police now investigating how the student got the guns. Brian Clark, ABC News, New York.
Publix says it will temporarily stop all political donations after protests by students calling for gun control legislation. Parkland shooting survivor David Hogg organized die-in protests at Publix supermarkets today. The demonstrations protested the grocery store chain's donations to Florida Agricultural Commissioner Adam Putnam. The Republican candidate for governor is a staunch supporter of the National Rifle Association. The grocery store chain released their decision in a press release today. The company saying it has suspended corporate funding political contributions to reevaluate their giving process. Sports is next, but first, here's what's coming up on Jimmy Kimmel.
Tonight, it's an instant Kimmel classic when Diane Keaton shows some love.
The dream has come true for Jimmy Kimmel.
Plus, journalist Jim Acosta.
It's a good thing, it's a bad thing.
And order in the court, it's Judge James.
Issue hot.
Are you crazy? Kimmel, tonight on ABC.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery?
Sure.
We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
I'll be right back.
Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
Thank you.
What are you doing? You are the best protection she has. Buddy up. I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit helpsavethenextgirl.com and get involved.
Get all the local information you need before you leave home in the morning. Watch Good Morning Suncoast weekdays on ABC7 to get breaking news, plus First Alert weather and traffic focused on where you live. ABC7, we're here for you.
Now, sports.
The Tampa Bay Rays starting a new trend in baseball. The Rays again going to their bullpen to start the game. The team will use relief pitchers to start all 3 games against the Orioles, but that strategy did not pan out for the Rays. The Orioles beat them 2-0 today. And speaking of the Rays, they've lost 2 minor leaguers to the Seattle Mariners today. The Mariners are acquiring Denard Span and right-handed reliever Alex Colomé for 2 minor leaguers. Seattle sent minor league right-handers Andrew Moore and Tommy Romero to Tampa Bay in that deal. And Houston's Chris Paul will miss Game 6 of the NBA's Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors tomorrow night because of a hamstring injury. Paul was injured in the 4th quarter of Houston's win over the Warriors last night. The Rockets say Paul's strained right hamstring will be reevaluated after the team returns to Houston following Game 6. That's a look at sports. We'll have tonight's winning lotto numbers straight ahead.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Since 2004, Embracing Our Differences has used the power of art and education to promote diversity. One way it accomplishes this is through its annual outdoor exhibition of 45 billboard-sized works of art, each accompanied by an inspirational quote. Join us in creating a community that is inclusive for all, where differences are embraced and individuality is celebrated. We invite you to celebrate the voices and visions of diversity and inclusion at this year's exhibit at Sarasota's Island Park.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
ABC7 News at 7 weeknights.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
Well, there is still 30 minutes left of National Wine Day. Wine has been around for centuries, of course, and drinking moderate amounts has been known to lower risks for some diseases. For seafood, grab a bottle of dry white wine like Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio, and if you're more of a red wine lover, grill up some steaks and pour some Cabernet. Sounds nice this evening, except grilling some steaks. I don't know if that's going to be in the forecast work for us this weekend with Memorial
I've done
Day.
that before underneath the cover. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. And you still have 30 minutes, just under that, to have a nice glass of wine on National Wine Day. We are going to be looking at all the rain falling from the sky tomorrow afternoon and night, really. Tomorrow morning, there is some chance you may be able to get something in if you're maybe have tea time planned. There could be a few showers you have to dodge, but I think more so in the afternoon and evening. It gets a little heavier too on Sunday. And look out for Sunday morning. If it does occur Sunday morning, a lot of people won't be driving, so that's good. It'll just be a heavy rainfall for a lot of people sleeping.
All right, thanks, Bob. And thank you all for joining us. We'll see you right back here on Monday. Have a wonderful and safe weekend.